right, well, let's talk to Santosh Rao, the head of research at Manhattan Venture Partners. Santosh, lovely to see you. Welcome back to the programme. Well, first of all, I guess, just how damaging is this?
Yes, he's a huge target. Like you said, he's one of the biggest companies, biggest empires in India in terms of the business sense. So it's a reputational hit for sure. The headline is not good, so he's going to take some hits, but it's going to be okay. In the end, it's no different from what Siemens got hit with, Goldman, Oracle twice in India. So all these companies, SAP also, they all were charged by the SEC and Department of Justice, and they all came out. They will pay a heavy fine unless it's real blatant. But on the face of it, looking at the details so far, looks like it's... he's going to take a reputational hit. He'll pay the fine. He will have to. It'll go on for a while. The stock took a 20% hit, unlike the Hindenburg, which took a 70% hit at that time. So this one, I think people are not really saying it's the end of the world. It's a minor hiccup here.
Okay, well, you mentioned the Hindenburg report. I mean, this is the second major crisis for Adani in 2 years, I think, following that Hindenburg research report, which accused the group of stock manipulation and accounting fraud. How does this new indictment compare with that previous one?
Well, I think the previous one did not go anywhere. I mean, they started off, it looked bad also. I think there were some governance issues that hopefully are resolved at this point. But the stock is back, the company is back, and that's been taken care of. In this case, I think, you have to note one thing. I mean, Adani Group is too big to fail. They are a huge company. They are in every node of India's infrastructure development, in ports, in airports, in railways. It's everywhere. And they have the financial muscle to kind of execute on these huge projects that are needed when the new government wants to have an 8% growth, the GDP growth. To maintain that growth, you need this development. And he's going to play a key part in India's development. So it's core to that. That aspect of it is undeniable. It's too big to fail. But of course, you can't be cheating anybody. But that law itself in US, the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, is not a very popular one. President Trump himself doesn't like that. He wanted to abolish that in his previous term. He feels that it unfairly penalizes U.S. companies and takes edge off their competitiveness in the international markets, where corruption, as we see it, is part of the DNA of those countries. I mean, it's cost of doing business. You have to do it. But I guess there are some limits. But in here, the U.S. holds them to a very high standard and penalizes it. So all these companies, they were found guilty. They paid a fine, got away, took a short reputational risk, but they bounced right back. And that's what's going to happen here as well.
Santosh, good to see you. Santosh Rao, head of research at Manhattan Venture Partners.